Wine and Lead with Gary Vaynerchuk starts now.
Wine guest, Dave Baverstock is in the house. That's a household name, Sam Ben Ruby. And let's get our guest in and then maybe have some of the callers interact with our wonderful guest, David Baverstock, an Aussie, an Oz, who goes to Portugal and makes some serious noise. First hits the Portuguese scene in 1982, so it's not, little music action. I think Dave should punch us in the face for his music, in my opinion.
I don't mind that music.
You don't mind that music, David. David, how are you?
I'm very well, Gary. It's nice to be on your show.
Thanks for coming on. I almost said thanks for having me. I'm so used to being the guest. I'm only 10 shows into being the host, David. Thanks for joining us. It's funny. I've been screaming about Portuguese wines since 2006 on Wine Library TV, and have made a name for myself in the States as a Portuguese red wine advocate. But you really are a pioneer. I get credit. I hear all the time, like, Gary was really on the Portuguese wines. I mean, you were there 24 years before I started even talking about it. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what you're up to.
Okay, well, Gary, I mean, I have to say I came to Portugal. I fell into the wine business over here. I was making wine in Australia, did some vintages in Europe, and went down to Portugal for a holiday, and I met my future wife down here. So that's really the connection.
I see what happened.
Yeah. And then I got lucky because, I got into the Portuguese wine industry at a time when there wasn't that much known about the grape varieties. And so, from the Douro down to the Alentejo, I've been able to sort of experiment and play around with, all these grape varieties that Portugal has. So I've been lucky, yeah.
And so what are you up to right this minute? What are you working on?
At the moment, well, listen, we've just finished the vintage, the 2010 harvest. It was a pretty big year, so we had a long vintage. So we're still cleaning up wines from the harvest. But the new project that we have at Esporão is actually up in the Douro. We've bought an estate up in the Douro, so we're going to be making Douro wines as well. So that's probably the newest project we've got on the go.
And you do a lot of consulting, yes?
No. I mean, Esporão's a pretty big operation these days, so I've cut back a lot. I do a couple of small jobs, yeah.
But in the past, you were doing a little bit more here and there.
Yeah, I started King to the Crash up in the Douro, so
which is amazing stuff.
That worked out pretty well, and also King to the La Rosa. That was also another good Douro project that I was involved in.
And the Alentejo, I'm really passionate about. I think the wines are exceptional for the money. For all the listeners here in the States that aren't familiar with it, give us a little overview of it.
Well, I mean, it's a great wine growing region because it's in the south, so it's kind of nice, warm, hot, dry climate. So we the fruit ripens nicely. We get nice ripe fruit characters, soft tannins, rich spicy berry flavors in the wine. They're very approachable, very like you say, they're good value for money, easy drinking, and increasingly, because we've been throwing in a bit of Syrah and Alicante Boucher and things like that, we're able to build in a bit more structure these days and make them they have a bit more longevity in the bottle now too. So.
And are you like me that feel that Alicante Boucher is completely underrated? It's a varietal that doesn't talked about.
I'm totally wrapped in the variety. I mean, I never thought I would be. When I was studying winemaking in Australia, Alicante Boucher was one of those varieties that was kind of off the radar. I mean,
sure.
The French had sort of kicked it out of most of the regions, and it does a bit in the Languedoc, but here in the Alentejo, it's really kind of found its home. I mean, we make absolutely fantastic wine from Alicante Boucher. So yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't taken off more in other parts of the world. There's a bit in Australia, and I think there's a bit in California too, right?
Yeah, there absolutely is. Now, David, have you ever had the privilege of dressing up for Halloween?
No, it's never been a big tradition in Australia or in Portugal either. No, so
have you ever thought about maybe coming to the U.S. during this week and dressing up?
To be honest, no. But I mean, now that you mention it,
yeah. Can I give you an invite for next year?
Definitely, sure.
And if you were to dress up as any wine personality in the world, who would you dress up as?
A wine personality, gosh.
This is a serious curveball.
Yeah, how
about Jancis Robinson?
Well, I was going to say my favorite personality is Jancis Robinson.
She's the best, right?
I'm not sure they look good in drag.
Well, no, I mean, but you can put the blonde wig on and the glasses, and you're on your way.
What about the accent, though?
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, you got a good one to begin with. Maybe you can just switch it up a little. So what else is exciting in Portugal? What else do people here in the States need to know about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, increasingly, I love Alvarinho. I think it's a fantastic variety for up in the northern part of Portugal. And just the standard Vinho Verdes are getting a lot better as well. So, between Vinho Verde and Alvarinho, you've got two classic wines that really only come from Portugal.
Are you excited that the international world now recognizes Portugal for other things than just port?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been long.
And when you first got there, did they?
Sorry?
And when you first got there, did they recognize?
Oh no. That's that's why I said in the beginning. I was really lucky to get in at the ground level and then be part of this whole kind of revolution here in Portugal that has to do with, Portugal's got 250 indigenous grape varieties, which is much more than Italy and Spain and France and all the sort of more traditional wine countries. So, but it's taken a long time to get the message out there, and it's fantastic. The wines are starting to gain some recognition. Sure.
And finally, before we let you go here, this holiday season, what vintages or specific kind of varietals would you like to see people go out and find and try with their holiday dinners?
From Portugal?
Yes, sir. Or you know what? Let me mix it up on you here. Let's go with the what goes with kind of let me ask you a couple random wine questions outside of Portugal and Australia, two places you're comfortable with. What are some of your favorite wines in the world?
Well, I'm very, very keen on Rhone wines. I like the style of Syrah they do in Rhone. Even though I'm from the Barossa and I grew up with Barossa Shiraz. I mean, I've got a Shiraz thing, but I like what they do with it in the Rhone, to be honest.
And are you more of a southern Rhone guy or a northern Rhone?
Northern Rhone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the Côte-Rôtie, the Hermitage.
I like a bit more structure and that kind of thing.
How about New World? Is there any places that you fancy from the New World?
Not overly. I mean, I like Argentinian Malbec and Chilean Cabernet, things like that. But I wouldn't rave about them. I'm more and more, as you get older, I don't know, you drink more wine, you get more experience, and I'm coming back to the old world. I have to kind of admit that. And
are you willing to admit now, right here on this show, that you hate California wine?
I probably haven't drank enough to be able to say I hate it, but I'm not overly wrapped in it. No.
Fair enough. And what about bubbles? Are you a bubbles guy?
Oh yeah, but champagne. I mean, I've tried all the alternatives, and I keep going back. Got to go back to champagne for that.
And what about pumpkin pie? Have you ever had pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin soup, but not pumpkin.
Oh, pumpkin soup. What wine would go with pumpkin soup?
Can you be a little bit sweet? I mean, I'm very keen on sherry, Fino sherry.
Oh, we brought that up earlier.
I was listening to the show about the wine and candy stuff, so that was pretty interesting. And it's 3:30 in the morning here, so I was getting a bit.
Were you like Phil Toronto and starting to fall asleep? 3:30. I mean, I'm very impressed with you calling in. I appreciate that.
So I had a little sleep before, so.
Well, good. Well, listen, I'm going to let you get back to sleep. I don't want to hold you up, David. Thank you so much, David Baverstock, for being on the show. Is there any final parting words, anything you want everybody to know about?
No, just keep your eye out for Portuguese wine, and our stuff's on Facebook in the States. Facebook.com/Esporão Wines USA. They wanted me to say that, so I just.
So listen, you had to do what you had to. You got up at 3:00 in the morning. I mean, you could say anything. You could take over the show if you'd like. I'm very impressed, and I appreciate it. And David, I'll be reaching out when I come out to Portugal. We're going to be tasting some wine out there.
When are you coming out?
I'm thinking about hitting it this summer. Coming up in the States. I want to do a lot of traveling for wine this year, and if I don't go to Portugal, I'm gonna vomit in my mouth out of anger.
Okay, well
we'll fix that vomit in the mouth.
You better make it then.
David, go to sleep. I appreciate it. Thanks for being part of the show.
Nice catching up. Cheers.
Nice guy.
Great guy.
Great guy. A lot of knowledge. Good sport, and he got up early. But we have to go to Jody in Las Vegas. 877-55-GARY-V.